Hello, my name is Robert Menifee. Today I would like to do the video presentation of the research project. My topic was social media. Felt that it was a very broad topic, to say the least. I feel like today it's one of those things that everybody should be familiar with, whether it's using it or hearing about it or actually being part of using the social media as a tool. Today, I would like to tell you, we'll start with the history. Social, social media is something that would be considered relatively new idea of how to do things. It was created under 15 years ago. The first idea came to connect long lost schoolmates to each other through the use of internet to connect them from long distances instantly. Social media was partly created for the need to connect with people and not really have that time period barrier to where we could, oh, they're in Vegas, we're in Jacksonville, it's 12 noon here, we have to wait 3 hours so we don't offend them by calling them early before lunch. With social media, you could post to their page. If they're comfortable with calling you back, they'll call you back. So the same thing goes with this. The first social media site was called 6 Degrees. It was for classmates to reunite with each other, and that eventually turned into classmates.com. Uh, the goal for social media is to be able to connect people with new ideas as well as a platform for sharing ideas as well as other types of media like pictures or videos. One of the biggest social media platforms now is the marketing side. These two social media networks, the two biggest social media networks are Facebook and YouTube. Uh, Facebook accounts for 1.3 billion users worldwide. These sites account for a large part of the social media marketing that goes on with these sites. The function is so well that it's not only because the amount of users, but because they offer it for free, which makes it obtainable for anyone with access to a phone or a computer. You could possibly have these accounts from free use of a computer at a library. This is what makes the social media so reachable to people all over the world. Social media marketing is one thing that can make these sites keep functioning without charging the users to perform such activities as posting an idea or posting a picture or sharing an idea or communicating with their friends. It's free, virtually free. The social media marketing side, the upsides to that would be smaller businesses have brand exposure, users get free usage of the network. The smaller companies can broaden their customer reach just simply by having that one ad on even 10% of 1.3 billion people is a lot of people. It creates interest from social media networks, which leads to improvements on both ends from their products by people having the direct input to tell the company, hey, this is something we'd like to see change or happen. And it also creates something good for the social media sites where they can incorporate these businesses to maybe get people that wouldn't typically be using these, as we'll say our older generation, as like I would say my parents. They have gradually called onto it because they see that the social media marketing side is really it's really useful when a company says, hey, come to Facebook and get the coupon code for 25% off. You wouldn't get that unless you were using the social media site. The ultimate goal for social media marketing is for those larger sites like YouTube and Facebook to use other products and or apps to use as commercial material or products that might not otherwise even be known to the crowd that would have use for them. The infomercials on TV might have been the first look at what we see on Facebook and YouTube, as we see up and down the columns things we are actually interested in. And because of these networks tracking our interest with our profiles we create on the site, we can now use the social media marketing for these other companies for them to say, hey, we have a 10% marketplace for we'll say automotive parts, to where the guys will log on there, find the deal, get on the internet, go to the site. And it was all started just from an ad on their page when they were talking to a friend on Facebook. Now, social media network problems. Overload on your personal space, saturation of product presentations, lack of proper materials for use, social media targeting, misuse of social sources. As we see too often, it could be news outlets that misuse it, it could be companies that misuse it. Some of us know there are a certain amount of judgment a person must consider while using and being part of these networks. One of the main problems is that people simply put too much personal information onto these sites that actually leave them vulnerable to other types of bad situations like fraud, identity theft, stolen credit information. Another big problem that would have been seen in the media as of lately is when people take it upon themselves to criticize their job or co-workers on social media, which eventually ends in this employee's ultimate termination from the employer for such things as slander. Most people don't realize that by posting these things, your character can be at question, and due to your lack of judgment when using such networks available to a massively large group, the action can be taken very swiftly. One of our biggest things you start to see in companies all over is how they start to incorporate the social media policies about posting things not only during work, but about work, even off work hours. To me, this is something that should be the future of business going forward, is implementing social media policies to where the people most of the time don't really know the consequences or the actual repercussion of what they are posting. Simply could be market exposure that the company doesn't want or need, as when an employee we'll say, bash a company over just a small issue that could have been handled either one way or the other. It was dealt with the wrong way. Social media gains. Smaller companies can reach a large, vast audience. Social sites are most of the social sites that are very large are free. Brings ideas to instant sharing with others. Creates a medium for sharing. Creates a medium for group collaboration. Bridges the time zone gaps, as we can all connect to the same page and see the same video at the same time, no matter where it is, where it was posted from. Social media gains are very apparent at first. Some of the smaller things we wouldn't think of, like the space for sharing people's ideas as well as group collaboration. There's so often that you can get on these sites and have the group collaboration and input from all around the world, to where the problem can be solved in almost half the amount of time of what you would have been before this. Social media in the future, I see them creating a need for more of a business type media site, creating maybe a forum for government employees to connect within a network from each other. Incorporation into mainstream events like shopping and outdoor activities, where you'll post, it'll kind of go right up to the site to where, oh, this is a picture, and it would be like a sort of like a living timeline for that area to see how many different people did this in this area, or so-and-so bought a shirt at the store for $29 that last week was $50, and now you can go and run out and grab the same shirt if you deem necessary, if you're on these sites and you see where it is tracking people's purchases and activities. That's part of the live GPS option I see them incorporating very, very shortly. Overall, social media is a new, ever-expanding media source. It will incorporate large groups, I eventually see it bringing cross cultures together on one platform to collaborate. And that would be my social media presentation.